Hey guys, this is video is a bit of a mishmash of two thoughts, maybe three thoughts, all into one. and I just thought of putting it out there and having an open discourse with you. I'd like to know if anyone has contacted the New Zealand Herald and and got any response as well from it. That would be awesome if you can let me know. Seeing that they have released, they have information of messages between Ardern, what's her face? Jacinda Ardern, and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but through both of their offices while Ardern was Prime Minister. And by law, they should be releasing those messages. So that is what that's about. I've asked you to request the release of that information either to you or publicly under the Act. I think it's the Official Information Request Act. You can look that up in New Zealand. So, yeah, an update would be awesome. I've been told to look at the Royal Grift's current situation, video or something about, I don't know, being done or something. I haven't looked, but I've got the rundown that that something's happened with, I don't know, an account called POV. Whoever that is. I don't really care who that is. It's of no significance to me. But I think I want to put out here as well that I have been annoyed and frustrated with the Royal Grifts at times, and her outcomes or her findings, because it felt very protected by she was protecting the royal family, and it wasn't exactly sometimes factual. Also, promoting people like Jacob Rees-Mogg and Candace Owens and things like that, I just don't particularly agree with. But she's a great researcher, and I still am very thankful to her for crediting. Well, she didn't message me or contact me and ask for my permission, or I don't think she really wants to talk to me, but she used my work and credited my work, and people have now followed me because of it, and I'm thankful to her in that way, in a very limited way, because of what she did. And the reason why I want to do this video today is because it's just a really brief introduction of questioning when it comes to the shell organisations of Archewell, but also the start of Archewell of Sussex Royal back in UK. These shell organisations were done through the UK first and foremost, while Nut and Todge were working royals under the royal family, under the monarchy. So I'm also quite sick and tired of Archewell being a shell organisation within America and it having no ties with the UK or the monarchy. That's complete bullshit. And I want to open up this kind of discourse just very, very briefly. And I want to let you know as well that I invite the Royal Grift to actually, I've been told she wants to do her videos, the videos that she wants to do. So I know she has done a lot of great work about Archewell, and I invite her to maybe start a dual investigation or work together to look into this further. And really start actually ploughing into these discoveries and this unfolding, rather than kind of this one-sided view. and look into it from a real holistic kind of perspective. And I can be the yin to her yang. I'm more than happy to, or contribute in whatever way. So I just want to put that out there as a voice of support with whatever she's going through, and know that this community isn't just dead, isn't pure chaos. People have good intentions. A lot of people have had good intentions. I don't think there's a lot of people in this community that have had good intentions. And that are very controlled with what they say and they don't say, and what they research. I'm not sure if they research. There's just so much shit out here, just crap, absolute crap, gossip, absolute shit, and just misdirection. So, yeah, but I come from a good place. That's for sure. And I just don't like being lied to. And it's not really about the person. It's about being lied to and misdirected. So if the Royal Grift is still up for wanting to collaborate, I'm even happy to travel. I'm happy to do whatever there is. Because I'll explain to you what's happened with my investigation when this first started. So when this all first started, I think around April when I opened my channel up on YouTube, I was trying to get that up so then I could message the Royal Grift. And Megan's Mole was more than helpful at the time to provide me her email address, and I was able to contact the Royal Grift, and I was like, I'm such a fan of your work. I think we're like-minded. I know I can debunk this narrative. I'd love to work with you, or do you know? I think it was about me trying to get. I don't even recall the email. It was about me trying to get. I didn't. At that time, I was not pushed, but encouraged to start a YouTube channel because I was trying to get a book or a TV deal rather than have a YouTube channel. I know how these YouTube channels work. I didn't really want to present through YouTube and Twitter, but I was kind of corralled to create a YouTube channel because there's no other way to get this information out. Which is being weird, let's just say. And I emailed the Royal Grift. I think I was trying to work with her, and maybe on top of that, trying to get her help with getting someone like a publishing company or something or other. I can't remember. But at the same time, around the same time, I was also trying to get an investigation happening. And I contacted the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists because I needed to look into some financials, and I needed to fully expose this, how Nut was created. And it wasn't even just about Archwell, to be honest. It wasn't really anything to do with Archwell. It was to do with Nut's work prior, and I wanted to see if it had any connection to the monarchy. And of course, I didn't really think at the time, I didn't know anything about, the crown or all this sort of stuff. And I find out that, now that it makes sense, it's a DC company. They didn't respond. And I never got an investigation. And I've tried everywhere. Like I've tried those French journalists who did that expose on Archwell. They all of a sudden, once I suggested extending that investigation to things that I wanted to look at, they're like, "Oh, we're no longer doing it. We're no longer doing this investigation." And I tried other routes. I really can't remember, but I've tried a lot of different areas to try to have an investigation started, and not a controlled one, which is like, the investigation of Todge's visa, completely controlled. Yeah, so I guess knowing now, I mean, I'm really doubtful and skeptical, but I'm also very cynical at this point. I don't trust any of these kind of organizations who say they're about the truth and exposing the truth when they seem to be very selective, just like my politicians. So, yeah. Anyway, I think you're more than welcome to ask this journalist organization, ICIJ, if they'd be happy to do an investigation. But I have tried into these things, and I know I'm very vague about this stuff, so it was mostly about what I found out in Canada, and then over in America, about Nut and about her, the build up of her, and the people that were rewarded for building her up, and for doing all of this stuff, including Corey Vitiello. Yeah, he's not an innocent, and he definitely wasn't her boyfriend, let's say. So anyway, that was just a like of my stuff. Where was I? Yes, so Archwell. Let's get into that with this investigation, this very brief introduction of Archwell, and also the creation of Sussex Royal. The first thing is, I mean, we already know that Archwell is a shell organisation. I think it's a registered foundation. I'm not sure if it's a registered charity. I haven't really looked into that. I haven't looked into the actual details of the registration, but I know it's a Delaware company, which already raises a lot of red flags. They usually are Delaware organizations and companies for tax purposes, which, yeah, again, raises a lot of red flags. And it's definitely not registered by Todge and Nut, that's for sure. It would be people in the UK that were registering these companies out. So the first thing I want to talk about that stands out is the actual address of the foundation. I don't know who's done this research necessarily. I don't know if anyone else has exposed this, but I'm just going to say it. Suite 500 is not occupied by Archwell, and it's not occupied by their lawyer, Janelle, or whatever the hell his name is. So they wouldn't even be getting mail. They wouldn't even be getting these letters and stuff, because it's all fake. It's all staging, right? Stonemaier and Janelle don't even have a website, but they're definitely not in Suite 500 of Wilshire Boulevard, the building of Morgan and Stanley. And that usually alternates as well between the address of Level 5, 9665 Wilshire Boulevard, and Suite 500, 9665 Wilshire Boulevard. But Suite 500 is actually occupied by another law firm called Winter and Ross. I don't know how long they've been occupying the suite for, but it's completely occupied. I'll show you that in a minute. But the lawyers aren't there, and Archwell isn't there, and so it's a complete shell set up by these two organizations, the law firm of Janelle, which I heavily question, and Archwell, well, somebody else has created this fabrication anyway. Let's just say that. I find it very, very questionable as well. James Holt is, in any shape or form, past or present, managing this company, if you can call it a company. I think James Holt works for the palace, and he's managing the Archwell. That's how I see it. But his address here is listed as the same address, but it's fifth floor. Fifth floor now, not Suite 500. I don't know if fifth floor and Suite 500 are on the same level or whatever, but it doesn't correlate. Like, it's not exactly the same how it's written. But he's listed as, that's his principal address. I want to take you back to the time that I really started questioning the monarchy's business activities and the whole, I guess, the motive behind Nut and Todge, because it didn't make sense what was happening. And that was July 2023. It was when I was looking into the photo call of Nut and Todge and how the image was actually photoshopped, and the XF data was 2 days after Farchi was actually born, that the christening photos were created. And Kensington Palace owned the first videos that came out May the 8th as true events. And the same day that this happens, I think Nut commercializes Farchi, I think by means of a website creation. Let me just go down here. Oh, sorry, not July, June 2023. Yeah, so she then proceeds to create her own identity. So I think Farchi, she created a website the same day, I think May the 8th. She created a domain name, which I'm really, doubting that it was her and not somebody else. But this is how, initially this is how I was thinking, that it was her doing all of this. She then proceeds to create her own identity by July the 1st, Sussex Royal, so she can own, see how I was actually blaming her for it, so she can own and sell commercial rights of any photos, a post-Brexit strategy, but she is still considered a working royal according to the story we were sold. So this should be a breach if the story was true, because you can't be a working royal and be starting your own businesses. Now, the Sussex Royal, Sussex Royal, the foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, that was created on 1st of July 2019. Nature of business, activities of head offices. That is strange. And the address that's listed is 25 Moorgate, London. 25 Moorgate seems to be a location that many shell organisations use to register. And I'll show you that in a minute. But there are multiple businesses down in 25 Moorgate. Instead, by the time the staged May 8th christening photos come out, July the 6th, 5 days after the company is registered, Kensington Palace has allowed all photos to be transferred copyright to Sussex Royal, allowing the post-Brexit commercialisation strategy to unfold. So if you can see here, today Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Sussex's son Archie was christened at private chapel at Windsor Castle, copyright Sussex Royal. So literally 5 days after the business was registered. See here, May 6th, you've got just Chris Allerton. It's interesting. This makes me wonder if this has been a mutually agreed, planned and executed strategy between the duo and the monarchy. Now, there's a Twitter account called Lil Barco Lil, who's really good at looking at company registrations in the UK and Delaware organisation registrations. Knows their stuff. Very good at looking into these very interesting organisations. Both Todge and Nutt were appointed directors of this company July 1st, 2019. The monarchy supported this separation and commercialisation, while these two were still working royals before the Brexit story was even laid out. Sarah Latham was appointed director at the same time. A fully structured, well planned out and executed business strategy and structure supported and aided by the monarchy. Sarah Latham, 1st of July. So that would have already been planned and pre-executed if everyone's joining the ship on the exact day that the company was registered. Usually speaking, when a company is initially registered, even if it's through an agency, the company is set up, and then even the agent themselves is listed as the principal officer. And then they designate or assign directors and office holders, because that's the natural course of things. You need a business first, a company first to interview, shall we say, and appoint people as directors of the company that aren't the actual original founders. So this is complete strategy. A full year to the date, didn't resign the last day in March 2020 of Nutt and Todge being working royals, continued on until they were living in California. Little Gerard. 1st of July 2020. So this was even after they were conducting that Todge was with Aspen and they were doing all these political activism. So they had this business still there while they were conducting political activity in America. That's nuts. Okay. Resigned same day as Sarah Latham was there. Another company they transferred over to, all while they were still working royals, even before Fauci's first tour. Oh, that was when the company, sorry, I'm just reading my old notes, moved to become, so the foundation actually didn't just die out by that time when they had Megxit. It became MWX Foundation by August the 5th, 2020, then MWX Trading that James Holt was director of by 28th of February 2020, which was while they were in Canada. This was after the Megxit talks. Yeah. Those two women and Gerard jumped over every time to MWX Foundation Trading. James Holt was a director for Travelist MWX Trading, Justice Defenders, all at the same time while being a director of Archwell. How many American organizations is he registered director of? And this is, well, like, this is Travelist MWX Trading, This is British. This is under the British company registrations. Cannon Place, 78 Cannon Street. Brighton Johnson, King's Parade, Lower Combe Street, or Coombe Street, Croydon, England. A trading company registered at Kensington Palace that was only dissolved last year, 10th of August 2022. That was once Sussex Royal, company type private limited company. That was initiated July 1st, 2019, while they were working royals and continued long after Megxit, which is what I've already stipulated. Kitty O'Fay gave the EXIF data for the christening photos. Original 8th of May 2019. Barker Lil, that I was talking about for Corruption UK, number 1, has looked into 25 Moorgate. It's blacklisted, and he says it's blacklisted, and it also takes you to a Capital Advisors Network company when searched. So if you can see here, it's AE Capital Advisors, 25 Moorgate, London. But then you also have as well, if I can find here, Sarah B also commented at the time, if you look into 25 Moorgate in company registrations, you can see here that there's a number of them. Oh, 154,704 matches founded. I'm not going to get into that, hey? 788 to 790 Finchley Road is here, which equals shell companies and boiler rooms, offshore entities, money laundering. Amongst the network of companies, there is a conversation taking place with the postcode EC2R6AY, which is the same postcode for 25 Moorgate, Tremont, LLP. If you look here, 25 Moorgate. Dissolved 5th of November 2019. So it was operating the same time as Nutt and Todge. Well, their company. This is interesting. 5 officers for this company. Lumen, I'm guessing Patricia Anissa Antoinette. Lumen Quirina Valentina Elise. Lumen Valeska Valentina Yvette. I mean, how many lumens? Finchley Road are these companies as well. And then Sarah B looks into the... Oh. Well, that was available before, and it was the investigative journalists, that website, and it goes to 25 Moorgate. So that's interesting. That's not there. And there's other connections as well. But this is what I'm trying to point out is Archwell, what the Shell charity or foundation or whatever the hell it is, that's a Delaware, has also, it started out the same way in London when they created their first company. Oh, well, they didn't. Whoever was in charge under the palace and the royal family registered this company, this foundation, and it was a Shell foundation as well with a false address. And there have been many weird kind of discrepancies, like James Holt being a director for multiple companies all at the same time. Obviously can't operate them all, so there'd have to be shells. Just very, very weird, unusual business activity. I invite the Royal Grift to still delve into this with me. I'm more than happy to share research and everything else. She's got my contact details, and if she doesn't, she can contact my agent. And I also invite you to contact that consortium of investigative journalists in DC to investigate this further. You can investigate it yourself. It's all an open platform, but there's a lot of questions, a lot of it's as holy as Swiss cheese. Let's just say this whole shenanigans from the get-go, which started out in the UK, in Windsor, with Nut and Todge being working royals under the monarchy. Thanks, guys. I think I did fail to provide you the website of Winter and Sons. Oh, sorry, Winter and Ross. Their location, which is 9665 Wilshire Boulevard, Suite 500. There's their phone number. There's their fax. You can have a look yourself as well. So sorry about that. I did forget. Thanks, guys.